Welcome guys, welcome. My name's Tim Sunderland. I'm joining here at our facility True Technique with my coach Dan, Cal and Ben from Everybody Physio over in Brighton. A lot of you will know them, I'm sure. I'm going to do a few little videos. First one today is a discussion on lumbo-pelvic stability. Alright, so first off, what I want to ask you guys is, in your words, as a physio, what is lumbo-pelvic area?
Well, anatomically, we talk about the name describes exactly where it is. So it's the lumbar, the bottom 5 vertebrae of the spine, and the pelvis. So on here we can literally look at the back of the pelvis, literally got the bottom 5 vertebrae, and the pelvis. We're looking at this general kind of area, lumbo-pelvic area.
Yeah. So the stability component, I'm guessing, the problem would be lack of stability, yeah? What part of this lumbo-pelvic, I guess, is causing that pain? Is it the spine itself?
Well, there's lots of pain generators in the spine. If you see that model, grab that model here. So the actual vertebrae themselves, they join together. So you can have the little facet joints here, or you could have the cartilage that's in between the bones, or you could have where the sacrum attaches to the ilium there. They can all be pain generators in the lumbar-pelvic region. And things that you can't see on this model include the ligaments, so the structures that connect the bones together, and then the muscles which help to provide stability in that area.
The pain can be from any one or multiple, I guess, depending on the individual.
Yeah, sounds about right. So lumbo-pelvic, the main muscles controlling this area or creating the stability are core, alright? So when we're talking about core stability, I guess in our world, the strength and conditioning fitness world, everyone's talking about core strength, core this, abs this. It's been thrown around everywhere. Let's dive in and define exactly what that is. Right, so lumbo-pelvic instability causes the standard lower back pain. So we're told to get a more stable core. Is there a right and wrong way to go about that?
There's better ways than others.
That's a better way to put it.
There are better ways than others. So I guess, firstly, what is the core? We're often sent straight to this midsection.
Six pack. Everyone thinks sit-ups with core, but that's that's not the bracing kind of stability that we want to try and facilitate.
Yeah.
And I suppose if we even come back another step further again and go back to, we're talking lumbo-pelvic instability. It's not only is it instability, it's the control of the area. And that comes from, again, like I was saying, core.
Yes.
To us, and even you guys, the core is made up of, well, the big one. If we think of it like that, cylinder, the coat can.
Yeah, the coat can.
We like to refer to a coat can. So around.
So from the spine all the way around the front.
All the way around.
Like a belt.
Yep.
Transversal pelvis.
And then pelvic floor muscles. A lot of small muscles in between the vertebrae.
Multifidus.
And then on top, diaphragm. Yep. So they all work as a cylinder to hold it in place.
Yeah, so that's the internal core unit, yeah?
Yeah, and to an extent, the obliques play a big role in that as well.
That's the external core
unit.
Yeah. So when you're looking at, you said then before, crunches, that's something in our world that's being thrown around excessively as well.
Yeah.
Now, that's the external core unit. Crunches being an exercise that
lumbar flexion.
Flexion. Yeah. Why is this not ideal?
Well, it's essentially the stress that it applies to especially the lumbar disc. So the nice structure between our intervertebral bones, it's essentially creating undue stress on that area when we're not actually bracing the whole entire structure.
Yeah. And so I would say that actual movement is not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
it is an athletic requirement for some sports, but for general population, you don't need to be going out, flexing the spine, putting it through a position that we know can compromise the disc.
Yeah.
So
especially for the hundreds of reps.
Exactly. We know that mechanism, the compression, flexion, and twisting of a disc is going to cause problems if it's a habit.
Yeah.
If that's happening.
Or a matter of time.
So, for an athlete, if they have a structured program that involves flexion of the spine, that's not a bad thing because they're generally coached in a way that allows sufficient unloading so that it can adapt to that movement.
Yeah.
Exactly. But for general population, we want to try and hold that area where the spine is stable through movement to reduce the risk of them causing injury to a disc.
Yes. So, idea of core stability or core training would be the muscles holding this area. Lock it. Rigid. Yep.
And the neutral spine.
Neutral spine. Yep. There. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give the core units external stimulus.
Yep.
And these muscles have to stop that stimulus. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's exactly what we do in our gym too.
And like I said, that's not to suggest having a flex spine is bad, but it depends on the population that you're dealing with.
Yeah. If you're looking at lumbo-pelvic instability issues, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what we look for in movement when we're assessing, and you guys would look for the exact same thing in your setting, is when someone is going through movement, specifically a functional movement like a squat or bending over to pick something up, what is happening in that section? Are they able to maintain the stiffness, or is there spinal flexion or even extension coming into that? And
does it change when they load left leg or right leg? Mm-hmm. Does that influence spinal position? Because it may be that left side is stronger than the right side or whatnot. And that's what we've got to try and figure out so you can then approach an appropriate exercise program.
Something I've been looking at, noticing a lot too, is actually the difference between bilateral assessment of it and unilateral assessment. I can have someone come in with an instability, symptom, or they're describing to me, and I watch their bilateral movements look fine. And as soon as you get them on one leg, what happens? There's nothing there, right?
And in a typical gym setting, most people just do bilateral movements.
The leg press, the squat.
Exactly. Clean and jerk.
Exactly.
Deadlift, all that sort of stuff.
Lunge would be the only one that separates that.
Stuff like that.
So you guys being in a clinic, that's how you see lumbo-pelvic instability. Dan, in the gym, how do we sort of see it? When we're looking at someone in the gym working out, what does lumbo-pelvic instability look like?
Well, exactly what Cal was saying before. We're looking at the movement side of things, and obviously this will be a contributing factor into what leads someone to go see you guys in the clinic. But when we're looking at that sort of instability around that area, it's like we're looking at, are you moving from that space? Are you moving or predominantly moving from the lumbar area? And if you are, why aren't you moving from other areas which should be more mobile? So where are these discrepancies found? Where should you have a more mobile joint somewhere else? Should you be dominating through movement through certain areas? Where's stable? And then sort of trying to decide, especially with some of our clients, if you've got somewhere that's tight that should be a bit more loose or a bit more sort of mobile, and what's that hiding? What stability issue is that sort of covering up as well?
So you're looking at kind of what joints above and below this area that might be stiff causing the instability or causing movement in.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the instability of the lumbo-pelvic sort of area as more of a symptom, like why are we dominating from that space rather than is that really the problem? Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So example?
So, prime example, we're just talking about the unilateral stuff, but, from your deadlift, if someone's dominating from the deadlift just by rounding their back out, they're not, locking into a certain position, not being able to drive their hips back into their hinge effectively, then we're going to be looking at the excess forces placed into the lumbar area and the excess force in the disc as well.
I think knees are a good one to look at there because while we're not saying knees are part of the lumbar pelvic region, they're an indication of what the hips are doing, and the hips dictate what the pelvis is doing, and that can influence the lumbar spine. So
it's really window to the spine.
Yeah. So you're saying if here down isn't working optimally due to some sort of immobility or lack of flexibility, it's not going to move. So we put undue stress through here, which causes the instability.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about lumbopelvic instabilities that's not so visible? Like we deal a lot with micro movements.